The Good Fight, Doris Mok. 2010, September 1st. Temperature back to normal. Last night, my temperature started to go down to normal. As I'm feeling better, Victor felt that I could handle some interesting information. He told me that on Monday, when we were at the hospital, a lady he chatted with asked him whether I am his mother. Can you believe this? Oh well, I do have a normal temperature when I write this blog. September 2nd. Fluctuation again. This morning I went for a walk. Perhaps it was the poor air quality. My body started not feeling so good. My temperature went up again in the afternoon. Victor seemed to be sneezing too. It may be allergy due to the bad air, but it can be a cold or something else. It is quite difficult to be free from each other's germ. In the past few months, my sole focus has been on getting ready for the next shot. Now that the shots are over, and as I look ahead to the next stage, I feel so stuck, as if I cannot move forward. Today, I also read a book on health from another breast cancer survivor. It seems impossible for me to live such a life. Eating healthy and organic food, they're expensive. Making fresh fruit and vegetable juice every day and doing all the right things. So I felt quite discouraged. I really don't expect that it will be the hardest when I'm close to the end of the tunnel. I'm praying that the Lord will show me that what I need to learn in this part of the journey, that I won't miss out anything. He wants to instruct me. I want to fight whatever infection or fever well. I pray that the Lord would give me wisdom and direct me to the healthy lifestyle that is appropriate for me. May He help me to surrender and trust in His sovereign will in my life. September 6th, first day of radiation therapy. A lot has happened since my last blog entry. My condition stabilized towards the end of the week. The benefit of the experience is that I'm now more aware of my body. My usual body temperature is 36.8 to 37 degrees. When it is 37.4, I will feel quite irritable. When it reaches 38 degrees, my thoughts become quite negative and my judgment is not good. Now I know to order myself to rest more readily. Another benefit was that I quickly seek help from colleagues to substitute for me for the weekend student retreat I was responsible for. I was able to go back to Macau on Saturday and Sunday and managed to attend 2 sessions. Victor and I returned on Sunday night. I rested and got ready for today's radiation therapy. September 9th, day of rest. Yesterday, the radiation machine had problems and everything was delayed. We got notified, but it was still a long wait. One thing about being a patient is that you can only be patient. We were all watching this tragic soap opera on TV, and there was really no escape from the drama in the waiting room. Due to the machine problem, the treatment session was cancelled today. The bad news is it will prolong the treatment. The good news is I can take a break without having to run around too much. This allows me some time to rest and recuperate. I'm learning to be still during the radiotherapy session. It is easier now because the actual treatment session is short, and my arms would not go numb. I guess in ordinary life, it is hard for me to be still too. I tend to feel my existence through activities and my aliveness only in action. It takes some willpower to stay still and not get agitated. Therefore, it is difficult to imagine a life without movement and actions. Yet, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Matthew 6:27. But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 to verse 34. I reviewed my study notes on healing. Here is one of my favorite verses. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget none of his benefits, who pardons all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with loving kindness and compassion, who satisfies your years with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagle. Psalm 103, verse 1-5, NASB. Thank you for all your prayers and kind words. September 14th, getting used to radiotherapy. I'm gradually recovering, trying to stay positive and humbly acknowledging my limitations. Victor noted that if I joke, I'm okay. If I do not, that's not good. If I start to snap back in English, it's usually a bad omen, precursor to a fever. Last Sunday, I was able to go to church after missing worship services for a few weeks due to the fever and body weakness. The sermon was on Psalm chapter 27, one of my favorite psalms. It was a special blessing. Verse 13 to verse 14. I'm still confident on this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. NIV. I'm getting used to the radiotherapy sessions now, learning to cooperate with the staff when they work on my half-naked body in this awkward position. The key is to be passive and let them move you. I'm somewhat surprised but glad that I learned to cooperate quickly. When I lie there, my mind tends to drift here and there. Today I thought about individuals with developmental disabilities, a population particularly vulnerable to abuse. At one point in my life, I have some expertise on sexual abuse issues related to this population. They are a high-risk population because they have to be reliant on others to take care of their bodies and have often been taught to be compliant. Bodily boundaries are blurred, and sometimes being too compliant may put them at risk. You may think that the association of radiotherapy to sexual abuse of individuals with developmental disability is remote. It is amazing how this patient role has allowed or forced me to experience things from very different perspectives. These days, I think about people I had worked with or served in the past, and sometimes gain new insights because of my patient role. I pray that I will have more understanding, empathy, and compassion in the days to come. As for the teaching, I'm learning to pray more for wisdom so that I can offer my best to the students. Plus, I want to do it with more of my heart. I appreciate your prayers on this. Tomorrow, I will be traveling back for my class. September 17th. Please pray for our friends. The second week of radiotherapy is over. Today the machine broke down again, so we had to wait patiently. My throat sores, not sure whether it is due to the side effects of radiotherapy or some kind of infection. So I'm trying to be cautious as infection would delay the radiotherapy. Yet I'm learning to trust in the Lord's timing. His sovereign will is higher than mine. Some friends are concerned how I am doing. I actually am doing okay. Most people who visit or talk to me on the phone think I sound good. I still joke. I was very alive during my lecture on Wednesday. It is my occupational tendency, or 職業病, to feel like I should be attentive to others and contain my own feelings while I am face to face with people. Writing the blog is a new venture. It allows me to express deeper feelings and be more open, sharing my struggles and vulnerabilities, which I usually am uncertain whether it is appropriate or not. We have some bad news. Victor's friends passed away during a scuba diving accident, leaving his wife and 2 young kids behind. Please pray for the Lord's special presence with this family. This reminds us again we need to trust in God's sovereign will. My high school buddy is also diagnosed with breast cancer, and she is going to have her operation next Tuesday. I pray that the Lord will strengthen her faith and that this may be an opportunity for her family members to come to know the Lord. September 23rd, Seeking His Path. Today I had my 13th session of radiotherapy, meaning I'm more than halfway through and there are only 12 more to go. Now I pray more intensely during the treatment session, and it goes fast because I barely make through 3 prayer items. It is amazing how focusing on the Lord can do. Yesterday was a trying day. After the radiotherapy session, Victor and I went to Macau for my class. The ferry ride was so rocky, we both broke into cold sweat. Victor got the bag ready for vomit. Fortunately, we were spared. It was so bad I questioned again whether I can manage teaching in Macau. When we arrived, it was raining so hard, I prayed for it to turn into a drizzle so that I could go back to campus. I ended up getting late for my appointment because I simply could not walk as fast as I used to. I had small group meetings with students yesterday. The small groups went well. I love what I do. I noted that when my mind is focused on tasks or people, I can be so absorbed I forget my hunger, physical pain, and everything. Example, how hard the ferry ride was. The positive side is that I really enjoy what I do and I can be very productive in such condition. The negative side is I can be so focused on the mind and the activities that I totally neglect my bodily needs. I need to find out the activity level that is good and fitting for me. Whenever I pray for healing, I yearn for restoration of my health, particularly my energy level. I'm waiting on the Lord to show me more about His will and His plan for me, such that I can make changes accordingly. I realize what I long for most is not the revitalization of energy, but rather, I want to be assured that I'm walking in the center of His will. That is where I can find peace. Pray with me that I may know His path and follow with joy. October 2nd. 3 signs of recovery. There are some signs of recovery. First, the growing nails come in a different color. Praise God, the normal pinkish color. There is a visible line on each fingernail, marking the new growth, and the darkened portion resulted from the side effects of chemotherapy. Each day, the darkened portion is getting smaller. It is amazing. Although it is not visible, I believe our new man in the Lord is like that as well, and our old self is fading away each day. Second, there's a little bit of hair growing, not quite to the length of the gua, mo gua, zi gua, but getting there. Even just that little bit of growth provides some warmth protecting the head. I don't feel the draft on my head as much when I take off the hat. Third, I have more energy now, and now I have not felt that way for a long time. After the 6th shot of chemotherapy, I got the fever for a few days, wearing me out. Then, when I began radiotherapy, I actually got either a cold or flu, although I don't have the temperature to go with it. I was very tired all the time. For the past 2 days, I finally feel not so achy and so tired. Although I wanted to stay positive during the chemotherapy treatment, the truth is I was easily tired all the time. In addition, I can now sleep through for 5 hours straight without waking up. I'm thankful. I still have 6 more radiotherapy sessions to go. Next Monday will be the 20th or 25th session, and supposedly the skin will begin to crack. So far, it seems okay, and I'm hopefully that I may be spared. If the machine does not break down, and I am in good condition to continue the sessions, everything should be done by October 11th, Monday. I'm getting closer to the end. Thank you for all your prayers. October 6th. 3 lessons learned. I'm counting down to 3 more radiotherapy sessions. My skin is alright, and the doctor did not even prescribe anything for it. Now the sessions go quickly. I've learned to undress quickly and efficiently place myself in the right, although still awkward, position. Now I focus on praying for only one thing, and there's not really enough time to finish. Today I pray for my friend, same age, on a short-term medical mission to Haiti. She's carrying 50 pounds of supplies and flying alone. May the Lord be with her, bless the team, and use them to bring hope and healing to the people served. As the treatment is coming to closure, I'm wrapping up with the 3 most important lessons learned from the Lord during the treatment process. First, my primary call is to be a helper. I have made a new commitment to be a cheerful helper, although I was imagining that there may be some grand vision or mission for me after the illness. There is none. Rather, the Lord reminded me to go back to my original call, to be a helper. While there is a part of me that wants to be some fantastic role model in women leadership, particularly for my female students, the Lord has shown me my primary role is to be a helper. So much for the grandiose dream of being some special Christian woman leadership. I pray, therefore, that I will be content to be a helper in different capacities, at work or in ministries. Second, I am the Lord's servant. There is a part of me that wants to do significant and meaningful tasks in life that are worthwhile. I'm learning not to judge or assign value on tasks and leave that judgment to my Lord. My duty is to complete His assignments faithfully, regardless of its apparent worth in my eyes, which is often based on the secular value of success. I pray that I can fully trust the Lord's leading and learn His path and not rely on my own shrewd strategies. Third, I'm going to live happily ever after. In fairy tales, you live happily ever after because you meet your prince and your circumstances are good. Some folks advocate happiness as a choice. I do pray that I can choose to be joyful, not necessarily happy, as it depends on the definition of happiness, based on contentment in the Lord. I hope to laugh and joke as much as possible and enjoy simple pleasures of life each day. May the Lord help me abide by these 3 commitments. Perhaps this is something you can share as well, and may the Lord help us all. October 7th. 3 blessings in illness. I have experienced God's blessings more fully during my illness. Let me share with you my 3 highlights. First, the love of family, friends, colleagues, and unknown brothers and sisters in the Lord. I'm so blessed. During this illness, I realized I am well loved. My husband Victor surprised me with his capacity to care for me and to do housework. Keep it up, hubby. My sisters indulged me with their loving care. They kept me company on hospital visits and traveling to Macau. They ate a lot of my leftovers and saved the best parts for me to make sure I eat enough nutritious food. This is not a surprise, but I do feel somewhat guilty to be spoiled at this old age. Sisters are often better than husband when you are sick. My friends, indeed, I'm blessed with many great friends. However, I had lost touch with many of them. I'm very grateful for the renewal of our connectedness. My primary school and high school friends. We get to chat like kids and teenagers again. My colleagues have also been wonderful, really giving me a break by offering a lot of additional help. I'm also pleasantly surprised that many of them remember me in their prayers as well. In addition, there are many brothers and sisters that I've never met praying for me. Sometimes I learn that somebody from far away prayed for me because they learned about a condition from someone. I'm so blessed by others' love, and I pray that I would be able to be more loving as well in the future. Second, the opportunity to pause and reflect on life. I like to take time to reflect. However, the reflections are really quite different when one is stricken with illness. As the possibility of death looms, the meaning of life takes on a rather different appearance. According to Erik Erikson, psychologist's 8 psychosocial stages of development, I feel like I'm suddenly pushed through the middle adulthood stage to the older adulthood stage in senior years. In this last stage, the main question is, have I lived a full life? And the developmental task is retrospection, reflecting on one's lives and accomplishments. I conclude that I'm ready to be with the Lord. I'm very thankful that the Lord has blessed me with a happy, fruitful life. It is definitely not perfect, and yet so full of the Lord's blessings. Sometimes we seek our own perfect life rather than one blessed by the Lord. How foolish! I'm affirmed that God the Potter has made something out of useless clay like me. He has given us, both Victor and I, lots of opportunities, overseas education and work, ministries, experience, etc. we do not deserve. As I reflect on my past, the Lord has also revealed my weaknesses and sins. Sometimes I remember childhood and teenage struggles. Sometimes clients I've worked with later in my professional life. At times my failures and shortcomings grieve me. Yet God's mercy have always been there. I am thankful that the Lord has taught me to understand my past from a new perspective. Also, there is still an opportunity for me to change as He continues to mold me to become the vessel that pleases Him. The Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to make the most out of both. I change it from wisdom to know the difference. When we know the difference, we have some choices. I'm blessed by this involuntary, compulsory retreat for the opportunity to have a deeper reflection of my life. Third, the gift to experience the love of God more fully. In my vulnerable moments, physical, emotional, and spiritual, I wondered why God is willing to become man, to be trapped in this human body that is so fragile with all the cumbersome basic needs, such as hunger, excretion, discomfort, etc. Incarnation is vastness confined in the womb of a maid. More so, instead of waving a magic wand to deal with the sinful world from a distance, He chose a path of suffering to save us. You came among us, lived our brief years, tasted our griefs, our aloneness, our fears, conquered our death, made eternity ours. From the song Lord of the Universe by Margaret Clarkson. In each round of chemotherapy, the Lord reminded me, Isaiah chapter 53, in particularly verse 3 to 5. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering, like one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteemed Him not. Surely He took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered Him stricken by God, smitten by Him, and afflicted. But He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon Him, and by His wounds we are healed. Christ had taken up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. All pains, all sorrows, all transgressions, and all wounds are already dealt with on the cross. Indeed, by His wounds we are healed. May we worship Him. October 11th. Goodbye. Today, I have my last session of radiotherapy. I came home and enjoyed a delightful shower. It is great after 5 weeks of having only partial showers. Praise God, my skin is still okay, and I only need to be careful. One uncertainty that many cancer patients have to face is recurrence. I have pondered about this on and off during the course of treatment. Am I healed and would continue my normal life? Or would there be a recurrence of cancer somewhere down the road? Should I be prepared for a shortened life, or should I look ahead to many more years on earth? The control freak in me wants to know, to plan accordingly. Although I have wanted and asked for some signs or assurance from the Lord that I will have my normal life back, but the Lord has not granted this wish. Instead, I'm reminded that God, the author of life, will write my life script. Therefore, I could, or should, only surrender to His perfect plan. I will continue my life journey and fight the good fight as a cheerful helper until the time to meet Him arrives. As Paul said in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7 to 8, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Thank you and goodbye. I want to thank all of you for your support. Your prayers, comments, and words of encouragement have been a great blessing, carrying me through during this difficult time. Your prayer makes a difference. Well, I'm going to say goodbye here. You can still share this blog with friends who may benefit from reading my experience during cancer. If you're still interested to find out what is going on with me, I'm moving on to a new blog at http://www.cheerfulhelper.blogspot.com. I want to hear about how your life is going on as well, so do keep in touch. Last prayer request. Please join me in praying for opportunities to have a ministry among students from mainland China in Macau. The Bible study group I tried to get going before breast cancer has fallen apart, so I'm praying for new directions. With love,